March 29th, Washington Post. Many countries ban circuses with wild animals. These lawmakers want the U.S. to follow suit. Mexico, Peru, and several other Latin American countries have banned or restricted the use of animals in traveling circuses in recent years. Performing animals are even rarer in Europe, where many nations prohibit them. There is no such federal law in the United States, but dozens of local bans, as well as Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey's recent decision to fold its tent, have some lawmakers hoping the American political terrain might now be fertile enough to send all circus elephants, tigers, and bears to retirement. U.S. Representatives Ryan Costello, a Republican from Pennsylvania, and Raul Grijalva, a Democrat from Arizona, appeared on Capitol Hill this week to introduce a bill that would prohibit wild or exotic animal performances in traveling circuses. Flanked by television actors Jorja and Szmanda, the representatives argued that the Traveling Exotic Animal and Public Safety Protection Act, known by the unwieldy acronym TEAPSPA, would end the suffering of creatures that profit-motivated humans forced to perform unnatural behaviors and live in cramped conditions. I don't think that those practices have any place in the fabric of our society, said Costello, who added that his constituents are keenly interested in welfare issues. The question is whether they and lots of other Americans are interested enough to push for a nationwide ban on circus animals. The bill is only the latest iteration of a proposal that's been introduced in Congress several times before but has never gotten far. Also at the Hill event was a U.S. Representative, Jim Moran of Virginia, who noted that he was sorry it had never passed before, but said that the idea did make some inroads. There's little question that public sentiment about performing in captive animals, particularly those considered highly intelligent, is changing. The Ringling Brothers' announcement in January, which cited a decline in ticket sales, came after local laws and pressure from animal protection groups prompted the show to retire its elephants. Last year, SeaWorld decided to stop breeding orcas, and the National Aquarium in Baltimore is planning to move its dolphins to a sanctuary. And animal welfare issues, as Costello suggested, have far more bipartisan support than many topics under consideration in Washington. What's more, backers of the bill say the Trump administration's zeal for cost-cutting could work in their favor. Circuses with animals are subject to federal inspection under the Animal Welfare Act. Retiring the animals would therefore reduce spending on inspections, making it a win-win for the government and for the creatures, said Jan Kramer, president of Animal Defenders International, whose campaigns helped drive the Latin American bans. There's an immediate budget cut, Kramer said. She said a ban would affect 19 traveling circuses with about 300 animals. A trainer moves a dromedary during a show at the Cedino Hermanos Circus in Mexico City in 2015, before a ban in the nation took effect. But there's an anti-regulatory zeal these days in Washington, and many lawmakers are loath to dole out sweeping new restrictions to industries, and that includes circuses. One opponent of TEAPSPA is the Calvary Group, an advocacy group for animal enterprise, which last year said the idea would deprive countless Americans the ability to experience and endanger animals up close, such as elephants and tigers. As you can tell how I feel about that group. The company that runs Ringling Brothers, of course, has lobbied against the bill in the past. Stephen Payne, the spokesman for Feld Entertainment, indicated it would no longer be a priority now that the circus is closing. But, he said, it remains a bad idea premised on inaccurate information about how circus animals are trained or cared for. This is clearly driven by animal rights groups rather than being based on any factual information or talking to the people who work with exotic animals, Payne said. There are exceptions for film, television, advertising, and rodeos. This is clearly driven by these organizations who are targeting circuses. Moran and Kramer, for their part, seem to acknowledge that the idea is not very likely to sail through Congress, though Moran said a lot of grassroots activity would help. In other words, public pressure, plus a plethora of competing entertainment options, help bring an end to the 146-year-old Ringling Circus, and it would probably take a whole lot of public pressure on lawmakers to lead to a national ban. Kramer seemed unfazed. Bills her organization has pushed in other countries have gone through 3 or 4 more evolutions, she said. The political landscape, she added, does need to evolve. And it still needs to evolve. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.